Welcome back to our Friday Zone of Potential Quick Zaps. I am your host, Coach Corinne. Last week, we tapped into where you are within your career. This week, we're going to touch on job satisfaction, and then next week, we'll talk about aspects of retirement. Once again, Quick Zaps are primarily focused on helping professionals transition to new jobs, new careers, or into retirement, but just keep in mind that you can use these videos in any aspect of your life. So the first two videos that I talked about were our state of mind and trust. So please keep in mind that these two topics are meant to be foundational for you to be mindful of how you internalize your thoughts and decisions so that when we talk about other subjects, you can check yourself to see if you're getting what you want. Before we move on, please keep in mind also that this recording will not only be posted on YouTube, but I'll also post it in my website, zoneofpotential.com, which is currently under construction. When it does come up fully operational, you'll have access to a free downloadable tool called Creating Pathways Within Your Zone of Potential. It's a workbook or a journal that can help you navigate through the weeks as we talk about what you want. And then I also create weekly newsletters called Ponderous Points. This can be a topic of the week, will be a topic of the week that you can think about things as you're navigating through your week and you're encountering some situations that relate. I do take requests for those and for the videos, so if you have any topics that you'd like me to cover, please don't hesitate to send it to corinne.schultz@zoneofpotential.com and I'll craft something up, whether it's a newsletter or a video. I'd be happy to do so. So speaking of jobs, let's talk about where you are with your job. How's your job going? Do you want more out of it, or are you satisfied at this point in time? So many factors can come into play that could tip the hat of whether you stay or look for something else. I've got like 7 topics right here, right off the bat that could sway you. So income, money. And you might think that that's the top of the line thing that people talk about. A lot of times it's not. Money is one of them. Benefits is another. The benefits that go into the job package may be something that you want, but if you're a retired military person, you already have the benefits, so that may not be a factor that you would consider whether you would stay or go. And then what about the quality or the challenging work? Is it boring? Is it something that you enjoy doing? And then what about job security? So is this an organization or business that's getting ready to go out of business? And so maybe you are looking for a job for 2 months and it's not something that you're concerned about. And then what about your workforce relationships? How about your partnerships with your, relationships with your bosses and your coworkers and maybe even your subordinates? And what about your partnerships with your customers and your clients? How are those going for you? And then what about location? So maybe the job isn't where you want it to be. Maybe it's overseas and you don't want to be overseas. Maybe you want to be right here in the good USA. Some people love to be overseas. So they look for stuff that, job or employment that is overseas. And then what about travel requirements? Does the job require you to travel? Does it not? You may love to travel and say, yeah, it's exactly what I want. You also may not want to travel because maybe you have a family or animals or whatever that doesn't help you, maybe stresses you out more so than it helps you out. So those were the top 7. There's plenty of other reasons that could make you stay or make you leave a job. But let's talk about then what would make you stay. So what would make me stay? I asked this to a number of folks as I've been coaching along, right? And the one that kept rising to the top, I've got 5 of them here, but the one that kept rising to the top was appreciation for work. So if folks aren't being appreciated for the work they do, quite often they look for another place to be. Appreciation from the boss, appreciation from their peers, appreciation from their coworkers, appreciation from their clients or their customers, right? So what is that sense of appreciation that you need that would make you stay? Remember the old phrase, I don't know if you've heard this phrase or not, but people don't generally leave their jobs, they leave their bosses. And so that you replace that bosses with any other attributes that don't give you the appreciation you need for the work that you do. And then what about money? So these next four that I've captured aren't necessarily in any order, but I want to touch on them briefly as we talk about what would make me stay. So money. Am I being fairly compensated for the work that I do? And then the benefits, and we talked about the benefits before, but I may need the benefits package that's there at this point in time in my life. Maybe I have some major issues, health issues or what have you, and these benefit packages, this benefit package that they offer helps me with that. So that might make me stay. And then the next one is positive and safe environment. Let's say a positive environment. Look at the workforce. Look at the boss. Are your colleagues, are the folks that you're working with working together as a team? No matter where they are within the organization, they're all pulling forward for the team. It's the boss empowering you to be able to use your strengths and to be able to allow you to create to be creative if that's something that you want to do. Right? So that's that positive environment. And the safe environment for like the surroundings. Are you working in an asbestos environment where you have to put on a full suit every time you go to work? And is that something that you want? Or is it something that you don't, I don't know. Maybe it would make you stay. Are you allowed to acquire equipment within your workplace that would help you with your health issues? For example, do you need a stand-up desk? Do you need an ergonomic keyboard? And is that available to you? So maybe that is something that would make you stay because they are accommodating to your environmental and your positive environment needs. And then what about the challenging work that inspires and motivates? So what I mean here is like at the end of the day, when you go home, you feel energized. You may still be tired, but you still feel energized because you know you provided value. You know you gave your all. You know that but what you just did, you hit a home run. So that's what I mean by challenging work, something that drove you to appreciate what also not only do other people appreciate you, but you appreciate what you just did. And it makes you want to come back the next day and dig in again. And then speaking of digging in, this is something that you get lost in time doing. So when you look at the clock at the end of the day and you discover that it's the end of your day, instead of watching the clock until it becomes the end of the day, so that's when you get lost in your job and you then can really take a look at it and say, maybe that is something that I enjoy doing. I don't know. So what do you enjoy about your current employment and what are you not getting that you need in order to feel the satisfaction from your workplace, your work itself, the relationships within your work environment? What is that within your job that you are getting, that you enjoy, and that you're not getting? You probably know why you would stay, but do you know really why you would leave? And then if you're not sure, I have a few things that you can do in order to assess whether you should stay or start looking for employment elsewhere. So first of all, list what you enjoy about your ideal job. I'm not talking about your current job. You will get to that in a second. But your ideal job. What would it be? What would it look like? What would you hear? How would you feel about what you're doing? And list all that. And then list what you enjoy about your current job. How you feel in that position now. What it looks like for you now. And then identify what offers you opportunities to use your strengths and to grow within your certain job. So you may not have thought about it in your ideal job because it is a job, right? But are there opportunities within that job that allow you to grow and use your strengths? So that is your enjoyment list. And then we're going to create a disenchantment list. And that is where you list what you do not like about your current job. So it might be that you don't particularly like to brief. You know you have to do it, but you just don't like to. Is it that you have to do a lot of writing? Some folks don't like to do a lot of writing. And I'll give you an example. This isn't for everybody, right? But a lot of IT folks want to do the gadgetry. They don't want to write all the nitnoids about what's going on. So quite often, um, those folks will shy away from having to write the big long reports about what had just happened, right? And so that's what you don't like with. And then the other piece of the disenchantment list is what wears you out in your job. For example, I had a job where driving the traffic to get there was horrendous. It was horrible. And by the time I got there, if it was raining, and I would have to park my car, obviously, and then in order to get to the front door, I had to walk basically through a river and a wind tunnel. So then the rain's going sideways. My boots, because I'm having to wear galoshes now, are still soaked down inside because the water's so deep. And I get in there and I'm wet and I'm cold and miserable. So that wears me, and then to have to drive home, that just wears me out. So the quality of work was okay, but I knew that I could find a job somewhere else basically doing the same type job. So what is it that wears you out that you just don't want to tolerate? And then compare your enjoyment list to your disenchantment list, and then check yourself to see whether you should make that move or not. Check your attitude. We often get caught up in inner office politics, disgruntled worker drama, our own personal life issues that come up, and other events that could take away from what we were enjoying doing. So we may have enjoyed the job, but then other things started to happen and we started to sway away from that job. And then not only should you check your attitude, but check your gratitude. So sometimes we focus on everything else that's going on around us that we forget how fortunate we are to even have a job. And if you're so unhappy that you can't be grateful about where you work, consider changing sooner rather than later. And that way you don't fall into the disgruntled worker drama and burn bridges. And while you're doing so, follow your strengths. And even if you decide not to go, you may have not considered parts, aspects of your current job that may offer you opportunities where you can use your strengths that you didn't think of before. And now that you're considering where you are and you're like, should I stay or should I go? Should I stay or should I go now? When you're looking at that, look at the strengths that you're able to employ. Another example of that, I was getting ready to be put into a job that I knew was going to wear me out. I didn't like tracking the stats. I didn't like running after people to get stuff done. I mean, this job was not going to allow me to be creative like I wanted to be. But I identified somebody else. I didn't bring my boss a problem. I brought him a solution. I brought him somebody else who actually loved dealing with stats, who actually loved tracking things down and organizing things for the boss. Not only did he use his strength and do a really good job at where he was, he loved it. And what he did was, my next piece was, when you check yourself, openly accept feedback. Consider what folks are saying and determine if these areas, that they're delivering to you, if they're worthwhile for you to change or not. I knew I didn't want to change to fit in that job. I just knew that wasn't going to fit. I was not going to fit in that job. So I knew I needed to seek out a new job, which is the next one. Seek out a new job. Do this while you're in the job that you have. You don't have to. I find it most beneficial when I do, because it's easier on my stress level when I'm continuing to generate money to pay the bills while I'm looking for that employment. And when you're looking for a new job, you don't have to look for a new job in another organization, in another career field, or whatever. You can actually look for a new job within your own organization if that's the case. But look for something that's going to better suit you. And keep in mind the aspects of your ideal job that you had written down on your list. Also keep in mind the what you like about your current job. So that an extended list. And then finally, make sure that you have identified your strengths and bring those with you too. Bring them with you, not only while you're looking within the job criteria, but also when you interview. Because not only are they interviewing you, you're interviewing them to see if this is the job that you want. So you're not getting into another job that is not suited for you, that you know that you are not going to enjoy. And let me tell you, if you continue to focus on the negative attributes of where you just came from, your current job or your former jobs, that quite possibly can follow you to your next job and maybe even amplify. So the point here is to focus on what you want. Don't focus on what you don't want or what's not working for you. And if you're wondering whether to stay in your new job or move on, I'm available to help. We can address your job needs, in our one-on-one session to improve your chances of success. We can dive deeper into the reasons why you want to stay or go and how you can change your mindset to get what you want out of your work, out of the effort you put in to your current job or even your next one. So think about what your job has to offer you. Think about what you want to do next and whether you're ready for a change of pace or not. Opportunities come and go. Will you be able to recognize them? Thanks for joining me today. Please don't forget, if you're not already receiving my Ponderous Points newsletter, to send me an email to corinne.schultz@zoneofpotential.com, and I'll put you on the group list. Also, if you have any topics, by all means, please send that to me too, and I'll create a video or a point that you'd like to ponder on. So until next week, stay focused in your zone of success.